That was a pretty funny video, wasn't it? Two little kids going at it like that, drill instructor. I thought it was pretty neat. But that's not how a leader should act. Hi, my name is George, and I've been in a leadership position since December 8th, 1985, when I was promoted to Corporal, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. We're going to take a look at what the leadership traits and principles are. Right now, we're going to get into the leadership traits. There are 14 of them, and here they are.
There's no mercy, no stone unturned. Every question unanswered. What do we learn? Would you do it differently? Would you realize the worldly matters, but we're all blind? And can we find the truth inside?
The most important of these traits to me are integrity. My Marines know that they can come to me with anything. They know they can trust me with their most confidential stuff, and I'm like a psychologist or a doctor or a lawyer, and I'm not going to give that up unless I know it's going to damage them. So they'll come to me and know that I will give them good and sound advice. Courage. My Marines see that I am a fallible person. I will tell them when I have messed up. And they know that because of my leadership, because of my training, because of my experience, they can come to me and know that they can follow me anywhere and know they're going to be just okay. Unselfishness. This is a big one. This is a personally held one where you give everything you've got and don't expect anything in return. My Marines know this about me, and they will come to me for what they need and know that I have their back. Former General Walter Boomer, former CEO of the Rogers Corporation, states the following: some really basic things I preach to people are: you have to care about your people, you have to set the example, and you have to know your job. Steve Loranger, CEO of ITT Industries, considers himself a people person, and he drives his people as well as he drives himself. That's his idea of setting the example. And his people follow that example because he's a very successful CEO. He takes care of his people. He also has started a series of videos on the website Big Think. They're actually pretty good. I have one of those as one of my links. My references at the end. You should take a look at it. Michael Ilyich, former CEO of Little Caesars Pizza. He also owns the Detroit Tigers. He also owns the Detroit Red Wings. Very successful businessman. Got his discipline, got his traits while he was in the Marine Corps. He gives back to the community on a daily basis. That's his unselfishness to the world. Former military members that have turned CEO, I'll read you a list of them. Fred Smith, United States Marine Corps. Federal Express, he owns that. Clayton Jones, United States Air Force, CEO, Rockwell Collins. Michael Morris, ROTC. He is the CEO of American Electric Company. Michael H. Jordan, U.S. Navy, CEO of EDS and others. Unfortunately, Mr. Jordan had passed away, but he had taken a lot of companies and built them well. Steve Loranger, aforementioned gentleman I told you about, Navy, ITT Industries. Walter Boomer, USMC, Rogers Corporation, and a couple others. Michael Ilyich, United States Marine Corps, Little Caesars Pizza. Tom Monahan, United States Marine Corps. Domino's Pizza, and he is the Chancellor of Ave Maria University in Florida. Each has had their own success story, and it will show you the type of business people they are from their military background. There are quite a few former military guys that have become CEOs. Now, so let's take a look at some of the principles involved with how they did things. These three principles are the most important to me. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. You have to know yourself as a person in order to get anywhere in this world. If you don't, you're not going to convey that kind of conviction to your subordinates, to your superiors, that you know what you're doing and can get the job done. So what you need to do is seek self-improvement. You know where your strengths and weaknesses are. So always play on your strengths, but always build on your weaknesses. If you can't do that, you're really not going to go anywhere in this world. Our CEOs that I've mentioned before have done just that. They didn't rest on their laurels. They built themselves and they metamorphed themselves into something different. Fred Smith is a perfect example. He took FedEx and just grew that thing into Kinko's, air delivery service, ground delivery service, just reinventing himself. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. Know your Marines and look out for their welfare. Again, this you can say this about your employees. Know your employees and look out for their welfare. Take care of them. They are going to take care of you. If you don't, you will end up as one of those bosses that are being despised. And no one really wants that, do they? So take care of them. But don't coddle them to the point that they think they can get away with anything. Be firm. Be fair. That's how you get where you need to get as a leader with your people. Develop a sense of responsibility with your subordinates. Give them tasks. Give them deadlines for them tasks. Make them appreciate what they have. If you give them something to do and they bring it to you in a timely manner that you needed it, or even earlier, and it's exactly what you need or even better, reward them for it. Take care of them. Okay? Develop that sense of responsibility. Make them responsible for that project. Make them responsible for people underneath them. See how they are so you can better manage and know, are they going to be manager material? That's what they really need to know. Each of the leaders that I've mentioned so far follow these principles and traits because that's what's gotten them through their military careers. And now they have carried that out on their CEO business wherever they're doing. A lot of these guys started their own business. Some of them just landed into a business and were able to take off. But each of them are successful CEOs now because of their drive. Leadership traits and principles are the very backbone of leadership. So how do these relate to the business world? Well, mission accomplishment. The Wharton MBA from Penn State, they had gone down to Quantico, Virginia. And what they did was they went through the obstacle courses there at Quantico that the officer candidate schools go through to build their teamwork and leadership skills. These obstacles are just not something you climb on and try to negotiate and do whatever you need to get through it. They're a timed event, so they had to think quick and think fast. Mike Ilitch and Tom Monahan set out to be, the big pizza guys, and they started with nothing. Got a few bucks to start a business, and it just grew exponentially. The funny thing was, both of them started this business in Michigan, so these things just exploded from there. Different styles of pizza, off they went. Fred Smith was told by a college professor he had this overnight delivery business idea, and this college professor was pretty much razzing him, saying that he wasn't going to be able to make it. And his idea would never get off the ground because he was trying to start an air delivery service. So he's trying to be funny, saying this will never get off the ground. Here's Fred Smith these days having the biggest air delivery, ground delivery service in the United States and the world. Fred also made sure that his people shared in FedEx's success. He incorporated them, brought them into the fold, and took care of them. They in turn took care of him, which now Federal Express is, again, the biggest company there is air delivery wise. So the employee welfare is exponential, especially in Federal Express. But like all the other CEOs, they didn't get there just by themselves. They got there by their help. Okay, most successful businessmen will point to their employees as their point of success. Anyone that doesn't is not going to last very long in the business world. So taking care of your people does not mean just giving them everything they want and expect it's going to get done. That'll never happen. So what do they have all in common is their prior military service and their work ethic, their leadership, their discipline, how they do things. It's all common ground. Their drive, their initiative, their poise, and their tact get them where they are today. You don't see any of the names that I will show you, or I told you earlier, on a failure list. I haven't seen one yet. I've scanned the internet with their names all over the place, and I have not seen them once have a failed business. Michael H. Jordan was considered the renowned rebuilder, resurrector of businesses. He resurrected EDS. He resurrected Westinghouse, and then grew it into a big conglomerate by buying CBS, making it a media giant. This guy was amazing. In conclusion, immediate advance of orders. When a leader tells you you need to do something, you need to do it and do it quick. In the Marine Corps, a lot of times, especially when you go into a war theater, you have to do things which the leaders tell you, and you do it quick right then and there, or you may not end up coming back. There are times when leaders will need to tell you these things and you need to get it done. Then there will be times where you can actually take some time to think about it. Immediate advance of orders. This is all drilled into us from boot camp. The video clip you had seen earlier with the two little boys on it, and the drill instructor recruit attitude, you have to act quickly. That is born into you from boot camp. That allows you to think quickly and do what it is you're told right then and there. When you can do that without thinking, you will have very much a successful business, a successful career in whatever you do. Leaders come in all sizes, attitudes, and shapes. Colors, you name it. Alright? My mantra has always been this. You go ahead and take a look at all the leaders that you have had in your career. Or do you think you may run into? You take the good out of those leadership styles, out of those leadership traits, out of those leadership principles, and you make that your own. Then you see how you can come out on top. Continue to ask questions, look for different things from other leaders for feedback so that you can tweak your own leadership style. That way you can become the person that you need to be. Become a better leader, set the example, and become one of these CEOs that I've mentioned before. You can do that. You'll be sporting the same figures that those guys are with their companies. I think I've done pretty well with this as far as being a leader. 29 years in the Marine Corps, and since 1985 to now, being in a leadership position. I'm sought after by a lot of my Marines for a lot of advice, a lot of care, and guidance. And I love doing that for them. I love taking care of them. They make me. I know people say, well, you made yourself. No, my Marines made me. I got here today because of their backs, their knowledge, their wisdom. It was my guidance to put them in the right spots at the right time so they can do what they need to do. I thank you for watching, and now we are going back to our regularly scheduled programming. Goodbye.